6 to 8 p.m. I know 2 people have RSVP'd already to join, and we're trying to get everyone to ride share, so if you're interested in joining, please talk to me. Next week also, The Bottom is partnering with 4 other local bookstores to do an indie bookstore crawl, and so everyone's getting a passport, and you can go to the different bookstores and get your passport marked, and then you can turn that in for a raffle, so it's just a fun thing they're doing. Also, Justice and Generosity will be working with The Bottom to compile books that will be contributing to the silent auction coming up, and the books will be related to the topic we've been focusing on with the power of words, so excited for that. In addition, thinking of anything else, we'll also have a representative from The Bottom coming to lead a service in March, and we're just going to continue advertising different events that The Bottom is doing. They were impacted by changes in federal regulations, and they have a lot of events where you can either show up and support or donate monetarily, and lots of ways to support. So thank you.
Okay, Chris, if you'd come up and take care of our chalice. This is one of our readings. One of our readings.
No, closer to the microphone.
Nearer to the microphone. Okay. They're adjusting back there. How's that? Spirit of community in which we share and find strength and common purpose. We turn our minds and hearts toward one another, seeking to bring into our circle of concern all who need our love and support. Those who are ill, those who are in pain, either in body or in spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. We are part of the web of life that makes us one with all humanity, one with all the universe. We are grateful for the miracle of consciousness that we share, the consciousness that gives us the power to remember, to love, and care. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Today, Ryan and I are going to talk about names and neighborliness. When you first arrived here, what was one of the first things that you were asked? Your name? Did someone offer to make you a name tag? I hope so. Did you get invited by our minister or someone else to stay after service for coffee, snacks, and conversation, or to attend the monthly community luncheon? Anyone? So let's talk a little bit more about this. Reflect for a moment on something so familiar, so woven into the fabric of our lives, that we often look its power, our names. From the moment we're born, we're given a name. It's the first gift that we receive. Often chosen with a lot of care, love, and hope. It's how we're called into the world, how we're known, and how we begin to know ourselves. But a name is more than a label. It's a story, a legacy, a prayer, and sometimes a mystery. Names come from everywhere: languages, cultures, traditions, even dreams. Some are passed down through generations, honoring our ancestors. Others are chosen for their meanings, each carrying a message or a wish. Some names are unique or invented, reflecting creativity and individuality.
In ancient times, names were sacred. They weren't just identifiers. They were believed to hold power. To know someone's name was to know something essential about them. In many traditions, names were given after a deep contemplation, often tied to nature, seasons, or even divine inspiration. And in some cultures, names changed as people grew, marking transformation, a rite of passage, or a new beginning. For example, my name is Ryan, which When I was younger, I was like so happy. I loved the Irish. It's a hearty Irish name. It was a last name and then became a popular first name. It came from Rian, an ancient name spelled R-I-A-I-N. Ryan was very popular after the 1970 movie named Ryan's Daughter was in theaters. I didn't know this. It still remains a top name for boys and increasingly for girls. Something I like to talk about is being born in 1998, at the height of Peyton Manning's popularity in Tennessee. I was very close to being named Peyton, like probably thousands of other children were that year. My parents did not like the name Peyton, so I escaped. Carol, as in our Reverend Carol, was originally seen as a more masculine word. It is derived from the Latin carolus, meaning free man. It later became widely used for girl babies in English-speaking countries, and also is linked to the Old English word meaning song of joy. Speaking of joy, it is said that joy blooms most brightly when it's shared in small acts of kindness and neighborliness that make a community feel like home. There you go.
Every name has a story, and this is mine. When I was born, I was named after my father, but the first thing my mother did was to carefully look at my ears, because my father and his mother had very long earlobes, and she was hoping mine would be smaller, which they were. Anyway, my dad had been named after his two grandfathers, so I became Willis Oliver Benson Jr., and my dad could then proudly call himself Willis Sr. But growing up, my mother always wanted to call me David. But she called me Billy instead. But I found out later that David, as some of you know, is a biblical name meaning beloved. But of course, my dominant father got his way. I often wondered if my life would have been different had I been named David, but the story goes on. When we moved to Alaska and I started 8th grade, I decided that Billy was too childish, and I told my teachers and classmates, from now on, I'm just Bill. And that's what I've been called ever since. Except that in the Air Force, I was known as Benny, after my last name. But where, I often wondered, did Willis come from, my official name? My curiosity helped lead me to my favorite hobby, genealogy. Now, genealogy can easily turn into a lifelong joy because it connects you to your roots, uncovers forgotten stories and photographs, and weaves your personal history into that of humanity. At its heart, it's a lot like being a detective. One discovery leads to another, and before you know it, you're finding long-lost relatives and piecing together your ancestral family puzzle. My grandfather, Benson, who died just after I turned 1, was from England. I eventually traced my Benson heritage back to my great-great-grandfather, who had worked as a metal craftsman in Sheffield, England. When he had to retire early, the head of the company he worked at, James Willis Dixon, kindly financed his training at the Sheffield School of Art, and that became his second profession. He painted a lot of horses for rich people. And when he and his wife, my great-great-grandmother, had their first child, a son, they named him Willis, after the benefactor's middle name. And that is how I got to be the third Willis in our family, because of a hardworking craftsman and the kindness that was bestowed upon him.
So this is today about names and, neighborliness and community. A big thing to focus on with that is, beyond just the history of your name, names help you build belonging in your community. Inclusion doesn't come simply from inviting you to a program or a gathering after an event. It also grows in small, everyday actions, such as using a name, moments that can quietly open a door or shut it forever. Going back into the classroom as a child, a student who hears their name pronounced correctly or hears a nickname that they like to go by or a middle name that they prefer to go by will receive a subtle message that says, "You belong here." And Did anybody have, you don't have to really raise your hand, but I'll raise my hand. Did anybody have a nickname that perhaps someone who didn't like you called you in school and it made you really mad? If your name is mispronounced constantly or you're called a insulting nickname, and if you say, hey, don't call me that, and it goes ignored, it begins to make you want to shrink yourself down. It goes far beyond being a child in the classroom, but it can definitely start there. The history of a name, especially one passed down through family, roots us in your heritage and your kinship. The meaning of a name kind of becomes an anchor in your identity if you feel like a strong relation to that. And in some, the meaning of your name, if it's something that relates to a hobby or a craft, pushes them further on. It's like, well, this is my name. This is what I am. And becomes a source of motivation or pride. As a welcoming congregation, we also honor the names and pronouns of our transgender members, recognizing how essential it is to feeling seen and respected. However, choosing or using a different name isn't unique to any one group. Many people think first of nicknames, but preferred names can take many forms. We might ask one community to use our middle name, while in another space, we might even invent an entirely different name that is not part of whatever is on your birth certificate. Each name we use reflects how we understand ourselves in that context and how we connect to everyone around us. Like many people in our modern digital age, when I'm in online spaces, I use a handle, and that has become the name that a lot of people in those communities really know me by. These friends call me that name pretty much exclusively, and only a few really know my real name. Which is interesting to say real name in that instance, because to them, that name is just as real as the one that is on my name tag right now. Each expresses a different part of myself and the communities I represent, or I am part of. Recently, I took a trip with some friends from on these online spaces. Ash and I went to meet with them down in Florida. And while we were making plans for the day, one of them, we were talking about what we should do, where we want to go throughout the day, and one of them said Ryan. And it took me about a full minute. And they looked at me and they said yes, and I was like, oh, yes. My identity with that group is so tied to the handle I use with them that hearing the name that I go by everywhere else felt completely foreign, and I did not even know that was the me they were referring to. That moment really clarified to me and kind of set deep in me how much both those names are deeply a part of me now, and how natural it is to want a particular name used for any number of reasons. So in this way, names connect us to our communities, and the respect we give those names will then make them feel respected in return. And when our names are honored, we feel like we truly belong. I would like to invite the choir up to come up real quick to lead us in the song Filled with Loving Kindness. It is in your blue hymnal, number 1031. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Carol. I'm going to explain to you how we're going to do this song. So we have words. Here's the way this works. All right, I'm going to be playing it. The choir is going to be singing it. You are going to sing it with us. And here's what we're going to do. The idea of this song is that it starts with me. Focus on the self. May I be filled with loving kindness. And then we send that same intention out to you. May you be filled with loving kindness. And then we do it all inclusive. May we be filled with loving kindness. So it's the self, the other, and then the collective. We are all going to sing this through 2 whole times. So we're going to sing the same melody line. May I be filled, may I be filled, may I be well, may I be peaceful and ease. That thing is going to happen 6 times, okay? So the first time, the idea is just get the words, get the tune, just kind of get comfortable with it. The second time, I would invite you to imagine actually focusing the words, channeling them towards yourself, channeling them towards the other, and then channeling them towards the collective.
want to talk to you about name tags for a minute. Why are name tags helpful? Can the congregation give me a few examples of why you think name tags are helpful? Yes.
Because I don't tie names and faces very well. Know the face and forget a name.
Helps you to tie the name to the face. Good. Anyone else? Yes. If you're someone new, it's really helpful to all of us, so we get to know you, you get to know us. Yes?
It allows you to be more personable to others.
More personable to others. These are great. Yes, David?
Just adding on to that, I remember reading one time that for most people, the most beautiful word in the language is their name. And when you address someone by their name, now you are making a connection to them.
Judy?
Seeing it spelled out helps me remember it and how to pronounce it.
These are great. Here's some other practical reasons. Name tags, as we mentioned, help newcomers feel welcome. Visitors don't have to worry about remembering names right away. It makes it easier to start conversations with people you don't know well. Even longtime members sometimes forget names, so name tags reduce awkwardness. Leaders, volunteers, and staff can quickly identify and connect with people. Some community building reasons are that people are more likely to engage when they can call each other by name. Everyone is on equal footing. No one feels left out because their name isn't known. Names are personal. Using them builds deeper bonds. Learning someone's name helps create a sense of belonging. For organizational reasons, volunteers can identify who's new, who might need guidance. At large gatherings, name tags can help organizers manage groups, seating, or activities. And with children or youth programs, name tags can help leaders keep track of participants.
So we're going to be, as well beyond this, we're going to be talking about some naming traditions. We're just going to be swapping back and forth through them. We're going to start with, just in regards to like how you're named, we have virtue names, which is a tradition rooted in values rather than ancestry. In Western culture, especially amongst communities such as the Puritans, parents often named their children after moral ideals they hoped their child would embody. Names like grace, hope, faith, charity, and patience were common, especially for girls. While these names held up spiritual and ethical virtues as ideals to aspire to, some older names have faded, and modern parents have embraced newer ones like justice, serenity, loyal, and clarity.
Naming babies after historical figures is also a long-standing tradition, especially in the United States. During the 19th and 20th centuries, it was common to name children after presidents, generals, and reformers like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Amelia Earhart, and Martin Luther King Jr. After John F. Kennedy's election and tragic assassination, all three of his names, John, Fitzgerald, and Kennedy, saw huge spikes in popularity. Today, naming babies after celebrities like Taylor Swift, Adele, Beyonce, and even Hamilton from the Broadway show is a growing trend. Whether chosen for inspiration or remembrance, historical names carry stories that connect generations and keep cultural memories alive.
This one is, next would be like naming after parents or grandparents, which is mostly common in European and American culture, and it's a heartfelt tradition, mainly in the firstborns, where they're often named after paternal or maternal grandparents. This often follows a set pattern, such as the first son being named after the father's father, and so on and so on and so on, all throughout the generations. Names may be used in full or sometimes simply become middle names. In the South of the U.S., an old custom is to use a grandparent's last name as a child's first name. This practice promotes continuity and often carries, for these families, a great emotional significance, serving as a living tribute to the elders and family history.
How many of you ever heard of the tradition called Name Day? Name Day. Some of you from European traditions, probably. My wife over there is going, huh, what? Yes? Well, name day is a custom in many European countries. It celebrates first names, but especially those named after saints or historical figures. Each name is given a specific calendar date. In many countries, name days are marked with warm wishes, flowers, and small gifts. And in some European countries, it's more widely celebrated than birthdays. Most everyone here today has a special calendar day that celebrates their name. I'm going to read a few examples. Suzanne, saw you come in. Your day is February 15th. David and Dave, your day is December 29th. Ellen, your day is August 18th. Alice, yours is June 15th. Ryan, yours is April the 3rd. Ash, yours is May 14th. Bill and me, I'm a Bill. Ours is June 25th, which is funny because it also happens to be my wife and my anniversary date. If you go by Anne or Anna, your day is July 26th. Morgan, not here today, I don't think. Hers is September 19th. Nathan, if you're still awake there, your day is July 13th. Judith and Judy, it's May 5th. Sabina, your day, as you probably know, is August 29th.
Anyone who has Chris, your day is July 24th. Carol, Reverend Carol, your day is November 4th. Denise, October 9th. Elizabeth, November 19th. Along with, and this is interesting to me, Beth, get that one short for Elizabeth, Betty's or Betsy's, all November 19th. Stephanie is December 26th, the day after Christmas. Mel, your day is December 31st. Carrie is November 25th. Randy, July 7th. Sandra, March 3rd. Sherry, August 27th, and Brad, if you're listening online, your day is October 17th. There's a lot of people here today, so if you also want to be ask, we have, Bill found this little widget app that just says, you just put your name in and it will pull it up. So if you're curious about what day it is, so you can have 2 birthdays. Come up and talk to us, after the service, and we'll see if we can find it out for you. So, as we come close to the end of our service today, we have a quick little reading, and Bill have found a wonderful closing blessing for us. But this reading comes from actually our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal. It's attributed to Lao Tzu, the legendary Chinese sage, who was credited with founding Taoism. And considering that name and founding Taoism, it probably comes as no surprise that this actually comes from approximately 2.5 millennia ago, 2,500 years ago. It's called, If There Is to Be Peace. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. There must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. This is also where we invite you to stand, if you so please, and also to hold hands. You do not have to hold hands. You can hold your own if you so wish. You go ahead and read our closing blessing.
So you're going to get to go to lunch a little early today. We had our directions, and we followed them. I still think a couple more minutes would have hurt, but at least you're not falling asleep. So, for our closing blessing, may we honor the names we carry, each syllable a story, each sound a spark of life. May we speak the names of others with care, so that they feel seen, valued, and embraced. May our neighborhoods become circles of kindness, woven together by greetings, laughter, and shared burdens. May we remember that every person we meet is a neighbor in spirit, and every connection is a chance to build peace. As we leave this place, may we carry the gift of names in our hearts, and may we walk gently into the world, ready to be good neighbors, ready to be bridges of compassion, ready to be a light for one another. Finally, we encourage you to reflect on your name. Where did it come from? What does it mean? How has it shaped you? And if you feel distant from it, ask yourself what name would feel true. And just as importantly, try to learn the names of those around you, those of your neighbors, your congregation, your workplace. Speak their names with care, honor them, because in doing so, you affirm their humanity. Let us remember names are not just sounds, they are stories. They are bridges to being good neighbors. They are blessings. May we carry our names with pride, offer them with kindness, and receive the names of others with reverence. Thank you. Good job.
Good job, Bill. You did it.